Welcome back everyone, my name is Wadra and today we are covering part 3 of my Bittensor deep dive series. For those of you who haven't seen my part 1 and part 2, those are the videos in which I cover kind of what Bittensor is and how Bittensor works, as well as covering the TAO token. I highly recommend watching them, but if you have watched them already, awesome. Today we're going to cover the bull and bear case, something that I like to do on all of my deep dive videos. And so yeah, we're going to dive into that right now. Let's cover the bull case first. So one of the things that really excites me about Bittensor is I think it's probably one of the most unique AI projects that we have in the space today. I think we have a lot of vaporware, unfortunately. But Bittensor has proven to me that it's not vaporware. For those of you who watched part 1, you'll see all of the different subnets that participate in the Bittensor network right now. Some of them are really, really interesting. Proprietary trading, protein folding. This is like incredible value, and these are like really good products, genuine AI use across many of them, and it's only getting better. And I think like with the subnet expansion now to 64, we're hopefully going to see more of this innovation. In fact, not hopefully, we are seeing more innovation. We're seeing more subnets. Ultimately, more subnets mean more demand for TAO, right? Because if you want to register a subnet, you have to pay in TAO. The second component being that every time a new subnet is registered, the price or the cost to register a new subnet doubles, right? So that is like a really big factor. And so eventually, if we have like 1,000+ subnets, we're going to have a lot of TAO that's required to basically register and lock up. And this is just great tokenomics, right? Now, dynamic TAO will kind of help on top of that because it will help to decentralize and give a much better distribution of TAO incentives. We talked about this in part 2, so definitely go and check that out. And I think like having like a Bitcoin-like token model is pretty good because I think like it's fairly fair. Like you don't have like a network or a product that has like VCs left, right, and center, massive distribution, like poor distribution, I should say. Here, like we've got like a long-term outlook, decentralization, like at the core of it. Some people think this is a con, but actually, I think it is actually quite a good thing. Bittensor definitely has a cult-like community. We've seen this time and time again with other communities, whether it's stuff like XRP, Dogecoin, Cardano, Ethereum, Solana. I think all of those have cult-like communities as well. Bittensor, in my opinion, has one as well. And I think like that is good because you've got people who will like help to educate, help to create like more material, whether it's videos, blogs, TAO stats, things like that really. I don't think you get that in communities where you don't really have this cult-like structure, and I think that's a great thing for Bittensor. And of course, like if you hold the TAO token, you don't have to just sit on it. You can stake it, you can lend it out, you can use Pendle. There's so many different strategies for you, and I think that like helps you to basically accumulate more and yield whatever. That is pretty good to me. Now, I think like if we look at like the total AI market cap as a whole, we're talking about 35 billion. Now, most of this is actually made up of things like NEAR, which I've put an asterisk around because it's more like a layer 1 or layer 2. We've got Render, Ionet, Fetch, AKT, Prime, Ocean. Yes, there's going to be like a new AI token once the merger with Ocean and the others kind of happens, and Fetch, of course. But yeah, total AI market cap, 35 billion, right? If we look at like Doge, Shiba, WIF, Pepe, Floki, Bonk, 50 billion, right? Now, I'm not saying that memes are like the worst thing in the world and they're going to go to zero. Like I can understand and appreciate the value of attention and kind of where these are going as well. In fact, I'd probably say that these are generally probably going to go up in future. Who knows? But I think I'm generally quite bullish on AI, especially when we see, Apple getting into the AI game. We see we see Microsoft, we see OpenAI kind of creating innovations on GPT. We're seeing so much innovation happening in the AI space. We're seeing Nvidia kind of go up only because of the demand for chips in order to process these AI models, right? For me, I just find it hard to see this stay at 35 billion. And I think really this should potentially get to 100 billion. I think a 3x from here in total AI market cap is definitely possible. And I think Bittensor can definitely take a large share of that. And that's because when I think of like which AI tokens to bid, right? Generally, I have like 5 sectors in my head of like that I want to bid: data, compute, AI networks, AI agents, and other kind of niche AI and consumer apps. But generally, when I think of all of these, like which one is the biggest? Which one is able to capture the most attention? Which one can capture the most value? I think it's generally going to be the overall networks as a whole. And that's because the networks kind of can combine all of the other sectors of AI into one. This is why we see things like layer ones and infra just kind of have such a premium, right? And I think the same thing could be applied to Bittensor and TAO. So I think all in all, because of this, I'm fairly bullish on Bittensor. I just put this chart in here just to basically highlight that where we are at the moment, $370 as of recording. I'd say we're probably in this kind of choppy range right now. I certainly can see things going back a little bit lower, but I think anything in the 300s, I am happy to be bidding, and I have been bidding. And yeah, just to go back to that all-time high that we had back in March, I mean, on the Binance listing potentially as well in April, over 100% to go. So yeah, let's see. No financial advice, of course. I have no idea which way price is going to go. I mean, imagine it just carries on chopping and we carry on going down. Who knows? There are still a lot of things to be worried about, which you'll now see with the bear case. So yeah, the main thing is TAO inflation is ridiculously high. In the next 1 year, we are going to see $1 billion of TAO come to the market. 1 billion, not like 100 million, not 10 million, not anything like that. $1 billion. And so like we really need to figure out a way to have the buy pressure or like the demand for TAO to eat that up. Otherwise it's coming to the market, and that won't be good. So one of the things that you have to do to really help fight this inflation as well is you got to stake. You have to stake your tokens, otherwise you will get diluted. So that is like an important thing to make, an important point to make, I think. Second point is that some of the subnets that we have in part one, we didn't actually go through each of the 34 or 36 subnets that we have available today. We just went through some of my favorites, right? Some of them I am less keen on, and the worst subnets do get deregistered and new subnets do come on. But I do think it is like a point that I should make, is that not every single subnet is going to change the world. Not every single subnet has incredible value. But you know, the market will do its thing, and those will get deregistered, and new ones that are better will hopefully come on board. Validators are kind of somewhat centralized right now. We actually talked about this in part 2. They actually handpick where the incentives go right now. This system will be completely improved with dynamic TAO, which is coming in the not so distant future. I think generally Bittensor is a little bit complex, and perhaps people don't really understand why it's so useful, why it works. It's not as simple as just like a layer 1 chain, you know? It's not as simple as a meme coin. That does kind of play a role into whether or not people will understand and people will appreciate and then people will buy. Because Bittensor came out like last year and was trading under $100 for a long time, we've got early whales that are up quite a lot. Chart is up massively. Big holders are sitting pretty comfy. That is just something to be aware of course. There has been lots of FUD. We talked about this as well. You know, is AI vaporware? I mean, in most cases, yes, it is. Does it match up to the $1 billion plus valuation? I mean, this is crypto, right? At the end of the day, like fundamentals only matter so much, and attention matters significantly more. So I think that is like another thing that I will say. We are kind of trading attention a lot of the time when it comes to crypto, and so please be aware of that. And the last point I'm going to make is really just around the competition, right? And I think this isn't just a point regarding Bittensor, right? This is a point regarding kind of all crypto projects, especially this cycle, right? We've seen so many new coins, so many new projects launch their token every single week in every sector, including AI. And so there is a new TAO competitor coming out every other week. Is this taking some market share away from Bittensor? Absolutely, of course it is. But like this is the case with pretty much every single sector, not just AI, but also DeFi, layer 1s, layer 2s. Like just look at how many of these other projects that we have as well. But yeah, you need to pay attention to the competition because in the AI space, like new shiny stuff is coming out left, right, and center, and so attention and therefore capital will migrate over very quickly. So yeah, I think this is like something to definitely pay attention to. But yeah, overall, I think I've got a fairly good balance between bull case and bear case. I think you guys know like what my opinion is. I'm a big fan of Bittensor. I really do like some of the different subnets that are currently available. I think they offer incredible value, especially some of the more innovative ones like protein folding. I think, yes, there are subnets that are sub-quality, but hopefully they should be improved in due time. And I think inflation is certainly, or like the emissions that are coming out, are certainly something to think about, something to consider. You can mitigate some of that by staking. But of course, we do have some improvements with, firstly, the increased number of subnets that are coming, and therefore the demand for TAO, and secondly, how the emission structure is going to change with dynamic TAO. So yeah, I think we've covered a lot in these 3 videos. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm down to talk about it more. I think just because of the way that Bittensor is rapidly innovating and changing, I probably will have to do another video in the not so distant future, just to kind of update, especially with how much is going on. But yeah, I'm a big fan. Let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I hope you really enjoyed this 3-part series. If you want me to do more of them, definitely let me know in the comment section below which types of projects you want me to talk about. I'll definitely spend some time to go over them. But yeah, that's it. This was Bittensor, and we'll be back again with more content in the near future.